Coming up now on Animal Outtakes.
He's got a long way to go, but he's looking a lot better, if you can imagine, than he did 3 weeks ago or so.
After years of mistreatment by his previous owners, this dog now has something to wag his tail about. He's now on the path to a happier life.
These hands-on interactive experiences with wildlife are really important for kids.
Get ready to go for a ride as we learn about a facility that lets its visitors really get up close to some of their wild residents.
Oh, look it! You get grapes. Look at that.
And we'll find out more about bunnies. Dr. Don will tell us all about these little cottontails to see if a rabbit is the right pet for you. This and much more straight ahead on Animal Outtakes. Hello and welcome to Animal Outtakes. I'm Marcia Panucci and this is my trusted friend and co-host Zeus. We certainly have a lot of lovable canines here at Dante's Den, like Zeus. But when a dog needs extra love because they've been neglected, well, that makes all of us here at Dante's want to give a little bit more. I'd like to introduce you to one of our special dogs here at Dante's Den, Bear. Bear came to us a couple of days before Christmas. He was rescued, and then he was surrendered by the people who did rescue him to Dante's Den. He came in despicable condition. As a matter of fact, had he been given to any other agency anywhere, they would have taken one look and said, there's just nothing we can do. His medical condition, as Dr. Glassman will tell you, has just a major problem for him. He has heartworm. He has a cyst that could be malignant. He came in with scabies. He came in with eyes that could not be focused. And in fact, we thought one eye was lost forever. And he came in a swollen case. His whole body was swollen.
Well, he's completely bald and scaly, as you can see, and the worst case of scabies I have ever seen. Scabies is a type of mange. There are various types of mange, which are mites that live in the skin, and scabies is a common contagious one, and he's probably had it, my guess, for at least a couple of years because it's affected his whole body. All of his hair has fallen out except for a little bit on the top of his head and his ears.
When we called you in, Dr. Glassman, other than the medical, which you assessed immediately and quite well, what did you really think?
Well, he's a sweet dog, obviously. He's very happy. You can see him, wagging his tail. He wants affection. The only thing that the owners evidently did do was give him some food because he wasn't skinny and, a bag of bones like we see some animals. So he actually was fed, but I imagine it seems like he probably was just kept in a yard and they threw him food, and that was probably about it, because certainly he never went to a veterinarian and had any real medical care.
We didn't know much about the life Bear had before he was brought into Dante's Den. But from the condition of Bear, he was extremely neglected, to say the least. Bear was a very sick dog, and for the first week he was here, he couldn't even lie down. He was in total discomfort. But soon, with the help of staff and doctors, Bear was feeling better.
He's got a long way to go, but he's looking a lot better, if you can imagine, than he did 3 weeks ago or so. As long as he does okay with the heartworm treatment, we can fix some of the other things like neutering, the cyst. The skin may never be normal, I suspect, because there's probably been so much damage by the scabies mites to maybe a lot of the hair follicles, and the bacteria. The infection will damage the hair follicles too. So I don't think he'll ever have a normal hair coat, is my guess, but I've never dealt with a dog this bad with scabies. He's a classic textbook. As I told Marcia before, when you're in veterinary school and they want to show you this is how bad something can get, he's in the textbook.
Why is it so important to all of us here at Dante's Den that we make Bear healthy and happy and have a really wonderful, wonderful life.
Well, you're loving, caring people, and you want to try to save them all. I mean, it's not always possible, certainly, to save them all, and he's one that wouldn't have been saved if he didn't come here.
No. And I do think that Bear will probably stay here at Dante's Den for the rest of his life. And you know what? Dr. Glassman and I and the staff think that's just fine. There are many dogs out here like Bear who are in need of a loving home. So if you'd like to see how you can help, or if you'd be interested in adoption, visit dantesden.org. Most of the time when you visit a zoo or an aquarium, you often can't get too close to the animals. But one facility feels the closer you get, the better. We headed out to Giraffe Ranch, which is located almost in the middle of Florida, to have an animal adventure. On 47 acres in Florida, you will find Giraffe Ranch. This wildlife preserve is like no other we've been to. They are so gentle, and they're kissing you right along the way.
Oh, look it. You get grapes. Look at that. Wow.
Giraffe Ranch lets visitors interact with animals.
This is the male. Now look over here. This is tiger food in India. The big stuff, that's a chital or axis deer.
Whether you get around on a big safari tour vehicle or ride on the back of a camel, you are right in their environment. This is is this fat cartilage? What is it? This is fat. You can't get this from looking at a computer. You have to be out here. Our first encounter, giving a little snack to an antelope.
These are eastern mountain bongo, and they're red in color because they look green to leopards. We have 2 cones in their eyes. We have 3 cones in our eyes. Leopards have 2, and this looks green to a leopard. So the pigs in the forest are red. The red river hog is red. The red forest buffalo is red. The okapi is reddish. The bongos are red, and this is camouflage to the eye of a leopard.
Found in Africa, both male and female bongos have horns. Bongos are timid and scare easily, but for these, they won't run away from a treat. There's something about looking in an animal's eyes. You see their soul. And it's quite beautiful. And we even got a closer look at this gorgeous guy. Lex, that was such an exciting ride.
Good.
But I was on a two-humper.
That's right. You were on a Bactrian camel from Asia. These are dromedaries from the Middle East and Africa. So if you go to what's now Turkmenistan, both these types of camels live there. This one goes east and goes through Soviet Central Asia, Mongolia, and the Gobi Desert. This one goes west through the Middle East and all the way into northern Kenya. But believe it or not, the oldest camel fossils in the world are found in Arctic Canada. Camels are not from the old world, they're from the new world, as are most animals you see in the zoo.
A common misconception is that camel's humps are full of water, but in fact, they are full of fat, acting like a fuel source. How long do these live?
They live about 40, and these are all about 8.
Oh, they're babies.
Yeah, and they've been domesticated for 7,000 years. They were one of the first animals that were domesticated by the Mongolians, who are the guys, of course, who created the biggest civilization in the history of the world, the biggest empire that went from the Mongol hordes, conquered everybody from Korea all the way to the Ukraine. So, and it was because they were able to domesticate horses and Bactrian camels.
Lex Salisbury, director of Giraffe Ranch, says a hands-on experience with wildlife is so important, especially for kids.
For example, I've been doing this professionally for 40 years, and I knew when I was about 10 or 11 that I wanted to do this, and it was because of having interactive experience with animals. Somebody brought a great horned owl to my classroom in 4th grade. I still remember that.
Lex hopes giving visitors a special opportunity like this will give them a desire to help support nature conservation.
It builds a constituency for nature conservation. I've found zoos and, aquariums and going to Africa and hiking in the woods and fishing and that sort of thing. Those are all great experiences for kids. A lot better than watching TV all the time.
Here are some interesting facts for you to know. Did you know that bongo horns can grow up to 40 inches long? Camels can get energy from their fatty humps when food or water runs low. The longer they go without eating or drinking, the more the humps deflate.
They'll live over 100 years. These guys will live up to 120, 130 years.
Next, we'll take a look at some ancient reptiles and find out how some of those species have been around long before humans, and now they are on the verge of extinction.
For thousands of years, we've been humans' best friend. You've been through a lot, and we've been right there with you. A dog is part of the family, a confidant, and a friend who always knows how to get into your heart. So what happens to our beloved companions when we can no longer care for them? This is why we've created Dante's Den, an innovative, state-of-the-art facility that will provide care for up to 100 dogs.
Dante's Den is a community for joyful dogs.
Millions of Americans face uncertainty when planning for the future of beloved pets who may well outlive them. Dante's Den is a charitable organization, so in whatever capacity you can, please lend your support so that we may continue this most wonderful work.
Dante and I would like to thank you for watching and for also opening up your hearts to our wonderful community of joyful dogs.
Learn about the many ways you could become involved by visiting dantesden.org.
The crested caracara is listed in Florida as threatened. Their numbers have declined due to many factors, including illegal hunting. Help support efforts to eliminate the threat of illegal hunting, not just for birds of prey such as the caracara, but for all wildlife. Always alert authorities if you see people hunting illegally, or if you see wildlife parts such as feathers being sold illegally.
Welcome back. It's not often when you can say being 100 years old is still considered a young adult, but for our next animals, that's just the case. They have one of the longest recorded lifespans of any animals on Earth. Age doesn't slow them down, well, because they're already slow. Take a look. And he is a tortoise.
Yes,
And the-
Burmese brown mountain tortoise.
Okay, and the difference between a tortoise and a turtle is?
All right, well, tortoises are in the turtle family. Generally what we think of as tortoises are turtles that live on land.
Oh.
Turtles will live in the water, aquatic. Tortoises will live, you'll see their feet have claws, they're not webbed, and they'll live on land.
So we have this little guy here, and he's
Yes.
about how old?
He's a couple months old
Okay, and so he's going to grow up to be
to be this guy.
this guy.
This guy.
So how much does he weigh?
He's about 40 pounds.
Okay, so this one is about 40 pounds.
Yes.
It is always amazing to me, Matt. We have these shells. We have a shell up here.
The carapace.
We
yep.
have a shell down here.
Yep.
I realize this is the way they're born. This is genetics. But stop and think about if we had a shell, top and bottom, how comfortable can this be?
Well, it's their little home. It's where they live inside. They pull in there, and they're used to it, you know? It's as comfortable as you are wearing a shirt and pants.
Really?
Yeah.
In fact, the upper part of the turtle shell is called the carapace, and it is made up of many fused bones. That's how this ancient reptile protects themselves, by hiding inside their shell. But that won't keep their biggest predator away.
I have spent some time in China, and they sometimes serve delicacies. Is this an endangered tortoise because of that.
No, these are pretty good. These aren't critically endangered by any means.
So they're plentiful.
Yeah.
And when they are captured for human consumption, what are they really looking at? Are they looking at the meat in the legs and in the body? Because the shell is of no value, correct?
The shell, you won't get any food out of that.
Yeah.
But the meat on the body itself is what you're looking for. That's what will be in the stew.
In the stew, yes.
Yes.
The turtle stew.
Yeah. Not my cup of tea, but.
Well, but other cultures look at animals in a different way.
Oh, yeah.
That we as Americans find very difficult to accept.
The Burmese mountain tortoises have become increasingly popular as pets. They are fairly easy to take care of when small. But as they get bigger, they will need more room to roam. And tortoises have long lifespans. They will likely outlast you. So taking on one of these is easily a lifelong commitment, especially if you own one of these, the radiated tortoise, who is native to Madagascar.
This is a radiated. These are considered some of the most beautiful tortoises in the world. As you see the design here, and that's where it gets its name. These markings kind of look like a sun radiation, sun rays or starbursts, and that's where it gets its name, the radiated tortoise. Now these guys are critically endangered, mostly because of the pet trade. A lot of people, because they're so beautiful, want to own them. And so the pet trade has kind of run them into critical endangerment.
So how old do these get?
These guys live a long time. They're actually, out of all the tortoises, they're on record for having the longest lifespan. The record being 188 years old. It's kind of a cool story about the oldest one on record, 108 years old. Was captured by the famous navigator James Cook, Captain Cook, if you ever heard of him. And he gave her to the royal family of Tonga. And each generation of the royal family would pass him down. He was hatched in 1777 and lived till 1965. So nearly 200 years old, 188 years old. And that's the longest of any tortoise on record. So
and he had
really
a good life.
Oh yeah, he had a royal life, yeah. He was in the lap of luxury.
The depletion of these two species of tortoises continues. Hunting for food and the illegal pet trade are the main culprits. Advocates say don't buy wild-caught imports. Instead, captive-born tortoises are commonly available. Turtles range in size from a 3-inch speckled tortoise to the more than 1,500-pound leatherback sea turtle.
Those long ears, cute little nose, and oh, don't get me started on their little bunny butts. Yes, rabbits sure are adorable, but they're also not for everyone. Coming up next in Pet of the Week, Dr. Don tells us all about little Peter Cottontail.
Our community has its struggles. The fact is, people have less than they did just a few years ago, and sadly, the need becomes more profound every day. Season of Sharing provides funds to help individuals and families in need, ensuring they will not end up homeless and without a roof over their heads. Together, providing a helping hand and making a difference. Season of Sharing. Give today at cfsarasota.org.
I knew I could get myself out of this. I just needed some hope and some help.
I took the first step to recovery when I made the call.
If you're depressed, drinking, and using drugs, you may need help. And the Affordable Care Act guarantees coverage of substance abuse. Call the Addiction, Hope, and Helpline now for a free assessment.
I had problems just getting to sleep, drinking and using pills every night.
I feel like I'm losing control. I'm afraid I'll lose my job or even my family.
Are you losing hope? You can recover and get back on track. Call now for hope and help with proven, gentle recovery programs.
I never thought that I could be somebody who didn't drink and use drugs.
I have something to hold on to for strength. I'm in recovery, getting the help I need.
Call the Addiction, Hope, and Helpline now for a free assessment with someone who cares.
Call 1-800-764-8708. That's 1-800-764-8708.
Thanks for joining us. So if you are looking for a new pet, maybe this next animal is just what you need. They have no odor, they're super fluffy, and they can be litter box trained. There's no doubt that bunnies are one of the cutest pets you can have. But before you hop off to get one, Dr. Don tells us all the things you need to know about these rascally rabbits. Dr. Don, we have the cutest, fluffiest bunny wabbit here. This is what we're kind of used to seeing as pets, but would you recommend this rabbit as a pet?
They are not for everybody. Matter of fact, this is a dwarf lop-eared bunny, and his name is Buttons. And Buttons is very nice, very cute, very social. And rabbits, before you think about even getting one, do your research. Find out, can you take care of them? What kind of care do they take? How long do they live? And the answer is a chocolate Easter bunny lasts about 10 minutes. A rabbit like this lasts about 10 years. So it's a commitment. If they go one day without eating, it's now a medical emergency. They're pretty tough animals, having said that though. They need to be kept in a hutch. They need to get out and get some exercise. And you need to rabbit-proof your house and be with them when they're outside their cage, because they can chew on electric cords and stuff like that and get electrocuted, what have you not.
Now, you mentioned a very interesting thing, bunny-proof your house.
Bunny-proof your house.
What is that?
They have teeth and they like to nibble. And I've seen rabbits get lead poisoning from chewing on linoleum floors. I've seen them be electrocuted and killed from chewing on electric wires. And they're not for little kids because they can break them. Matter of fact, if you were to just pick up a rabbit by the scruff of its neck, and if it kicks its legs, it'll break its back.
Oh, dear.
So always lift up a bunny rabbit with 2 hands.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Hey.
But we kind of do that with puppies, too, so that we don't let those back legs
Always
hang.
2 hands. You keep an eye on their ears. Make sure your ears are nice and clean. Keep an eye on the teeth. Make sure they should have nice, clean, sweet breath. They shouldn't have any slobbery in it. They can have trouble with their teeth. They can have trouble with their ears. Their toenails need to be trimmed, and their diet needs to be hay, 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 more hay, some orchard grass, some pellets, some fresh fruits and vegetables, no sugary treats, no snacks, nothing like that. Just
no table scraps. Huh?
No table scraps for your bunny. And whenever anybody gets a brand new rabbit, what do? You get some poop and you take it to the veterinarian. You got to check over, have them check the eyes, check the ears, check the teeth, and run a fecal. Because can they get parasites? You betcha, and I see them all the time. Usually you buy them with them. With free hookworms too.
Would you say that Buttons is full size?
Full size. This one is a dwarf. They come in many different sizes, from little and tiny to 20 pounders. They get big.
Let's just explore this a little bit more. You said 1 day without food is a medical emergency.
Yes.
And why is that, Dr. Dunn?
Their digestive system is very unique and weird. They eat constantly. They nibble all the time. They even eat their poop right out of their butt. You won't see it though. Kind of interesting. And if you were to walk up to a bunny rabbit, don't do this at home. And any day, and bonk it on the head and open up, there will be food in the stomach, food in the intestines, and poop in the colon. They are full. So they are a constant eating machine, make lots of little turds. They pee a very alkaline, milky, weird urine. So once again, if you're used to looking at a dog or a cat or human urine, and here's this bunny rabbit that pees this milky, weird looking stuff, or depending on the diet, they can have red urine, scare the heck out of people, think their animal's bleeding. No, it just depends what kind of pigment in the food, or kale or what have you not that they're eating. But they're quiet, they're not for everybody. Do your research, see if you can meet their needs, and then enjoy a bunny rabbit for a good 10 years.
Well, Buttons, you are just adorable.
Absolutely.
And now you are a celebrity.
Now, before you bring a bunny home, Dr. Don recommends doing your research before you buy. He also says you should make sure you have a local vet in your area that specializes in rabbits. Those hind legs are powerful. Rabbits use them to jump or hippity-hop away. They can leap 9 feet horizontally.
For thousands of years, we've been humans' best friend. You've been through a lot, and we've been right there with you. A dog is part of the family, a confidant, and a friend who always knows how to get into your heart. So what happens to our beloved companions when we can no longer care for them? This is why we've created Dante's Den, an innovative, state-of-the-art facility that will provide care for up to 100 dogs.
Dante's Den is a community for joyful dogs.
millions of Americans face uncertainty when planning for the future of beloved pets who may well outlive them. Dante's Den is a charitable organization, so in whatever capacity you can, please lend your support so that we may continue this most wonderful work.
Dante and I would like to thank you for watching and for also opening up your hearts to our wonderful community of joyful dogs.
Learn about the many ways you could become involved by visiting dantesden.org.
I'm calling in regards about my mother, and I'm here, and I just want to thank you because it saved my mother's life yesterday. And I'd like to know the names of the people that came in and saved her so I could call and thank them. And she's doing fine. It's a wonderful thing. Thank you.
When you fall and cannot get up, an accident can turn into a tragedy. But with Life Alert, one touch of a button can get you help fast. Life Alert saves a person from a catastrophe every 10 minutes.
Life Alert is a lifesaver. If it weren't for Life Alert, I wouldn't be sitting here today.
For a free Life Alert brochure, call 1-800-962-4112. That's 1-800-962-4112. Call now, 1-800-962-4112. For a free brochure, call 1-800-962-4112.
Is your mop a dirty, disgusting mess? You need the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System, the only mop and bucket that spins the dirt away. A system that cleans practically anything and everything with super absorbent microfiber. Dip it in the washer side and the mess releases into the bucket. Then place it in the dryer side and push on a pedal. You get a clean mop pad that's practically dry and ready for more. And your hands will never again touch a dirty, disgusting mop. The heads are washable and reusable. Get the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System for just 2 payments of $19.99. You'll also get a Sticky Buddy, the reusable sticky roller that picks up pet hair and lint and washes clean in seconds. You can take advantage of our 2-for-1 Pick It Up special and get a second spin mop set. Just pay additional shipping and fee. And we'll upgrade you to free priority handling. So don't wait. Order now.
Call 1-800-394-1524 to get your Hurricane Spin Mop double offer. So hurry and call 1-800-394-1524. Call now.
Animal Outtakes is produced by Dante's Den Foundation, a nonprofit group dedicated to creating the best life for dogs. If you would like to learn more about Dante's Den, donate, or volunteer, visit our website, dantesden.org. We hope you have fun and learned a thing or two along the way. Zeus and I will be back here again next week with even more animals and some wild adventures. Until then, thanks for watching. Okay, my boy's unhappy here. Advocates say don't buy wild, caught. Did you know that bongo horns can grow up to 40 inches long? And camels can get energy from their, what? From their fan.
Monday at 4 on Suncoast View. I'm Stephanie Roberts on Suncoast View. Last-minute Valentine gift ideas. Dr. Jenny keeps things hot in the bedroom for us, and Table Creekside gets romantic. Monday at 4 on Suncoast View.
Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com for Chef Judy's favorite recipes, restaurant guide, and more. Go to mysuncoast.com/dining.
Attention, this is an important message for anyone who has taken Xarelto or Pradaxa. If you or a loved one took the blood thinner medication Xarelto or Pradaxa and was then hospitalized for internal bleeding, you may be entitled to significant compensation. Xarelto and Pradaxa have been linked to serious, even fatal internal bleeding. If you suffered a stroke, heart attack, or serious internal bleeding, or if a loved one died after taking Xarelto or Pradaxa, call us now. Our network of attorneys have years of experience fighting the big pharmaceutical companies and is ready to fight for you. Potential claims are being reviewed for users of Xarelto or Pradaxa who have suffered severe bleeding or hemorrhaging, stroke, or even death. Our network of experienced attorneys is ready to fight for you. You won't pay a thing unless your case is settled. Call today for a free confidential consultation. Don't fight this alone.
Please call 800-928-6604. That is 800-928-6604.
ABC 7 News at 7 weeknights.